So the day I've been dreading has finally come. It's the day after the 49ers-Rams game, and we came up short. Let me be clear, the Rams could have won this game if not for a few costly turnovers from Matthew Stafford and company, but the defense needs to play better as well, and the refs did screw us a bit, but at the end of the day, we lost, and that's what we have to take into account here, and that's what we have to analyze, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Stay tuned. So last week after the Seahawks game, I did pull up comments from the YouTube video calling me crazy that we were going to beat the Seahawks and that I thought that we were going to beat the 49ers this week. And obviously we did not beat the 49ers this week. We lost by 7 points. And really we were in the driver's seat, halfway through that second quarter, even with, 2 minutes left in that second quarter. And then, just a terrible drive on defense from the Rams to end the half, and then they tied it up at 17. However, we still were getting ball at half. I was still feeling confident, but the defense ended up, not playing as well as they needed to, and Matthew Stafford threw 2 costly interceptions that absolutely cost us this game. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And I will say, hey, some of you are right. The 49ers did beat the Rams, but I will say most of you, I'd say a large majority, 80 to 90% of you were wrong. The Rams did not get blown out in any way. The 49ers didn't show that they were a severely better team than us in any way. And the Rams have a lot more to be looking forward to than the 49ers do at this point. Because, the Rams don't have Cooper Kupp for one. Although the wide receivers played, very well except for Van Jefferson. If Cooper Kupp is in that game, Van Jefferson's out, and we don't have that last pick at the end of the game where he should have came back to the ball. But Matthew Stafford will get blamed on that. And I'm just talking from the hip here on the game, and we'll get into the actual statistics in a second. But in general, the interceptions cost us this game, and the drive at the end of the first half, where the officials were absolutely just handing the 49ers a touchdown, screwed us as well. So basically, the 49ers got a lot of help at the end of that first half from the officials, and then we shot ourselves in the foot with the interceptions late in the game. We deserved to lose the game. Hopefully we can come back and win in Levi Stadium later in this season once we have Cooper Kupp back. And, once we've had a bit more time to grow. We're a very young team. I do believe that the Rams will be over 10-7 this year, and one of those wins could be coming from the 49ers game later this year. Well, let's go over the statistics. So Brock Purdy did not play well. The Rams' problem was not on, the passing side of things. He had a 75 QBR and a 93 rating. He got sacked once. By Byron Young, I believe. Byron Young, who is a very good edge rusher that I think that a lot of people are underselling at this point in his career. But he didn't throw any touchdowns, just as I predicted. And he didn't throw any interceptions, though, which was, something I thought we needed if we were going to win this game. I thought we were going to need to get interceptions, and we lost the turnover battle. So that's going to be huge. And however, run defense, horrific. Christian McCaffrey had a long of 51. Deebo Samuel had a long of 17. Even Brock Purdy scored a touchdown on the ground. So Christian McCaffrey tore us up. Kind of expected it, but I didn't honestly expect us to hold Brock Purdy under 230 yards. I didn't think he was going to score too many touchdowns, but I kind of expected a bit more yards out of him. So I'm actually pretty happy with our pass defense, and I am pretty sad about our rush defense. So that's something we need to work on going forward. I don't know how you fix that. I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I do know it needs fixing. In terms of fumbles, Deebo Samuel did fumble once, and also Brock Purdy fumbled once here. However, we did not gain possession of either of those, which is, huge. for them. In terms of our fumbles, we did not fumble, but we did throw picks. On defensively, Ernest Jones always at the top with the, tackles. He didn't play relatively good. He didn't play relatively bad. Byron Young is kind of the standout for me on defense. And yeah, I think in terms of passing, we did okay. Rushing, we need to tackle better. That's really what it comes down to. Them defensively, Fred Warner just tore us up. Pass deflection, tackle for loss, sack, and a QB hit. I don't want to give the 49ers too many flowers, but I mean, they did well. They did well, but they didn't do as good as they should have for being a number 1 team in the league. If you don't see the Rams as a top 10 team in the league going into the playoffs, or at least in the playoffs after seeing them play against Seahawks and 49ers, I don't know what you're watching at this point, because they went toe-to-toe with the 49ers and no one gave them a shot. And they covered, by the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it for covering what happened in the game. Let's go over some game notes. It's going to come from Rams Wire. We're just going to go briefly through all these things. I want to get to the next week against the Bengals, where we're also 6.5-point dogs for some reason. Crazy. The 49ers made their first drive of the game look easy, going 75 yards in 75 plays, which is capped off by a 14-yard touchdown run by Christian McCaffrey. That opening the game to see that was very, scary. But we did get points on our first 3 drives. Kyren Williams looked amazing. We got the news that Cam Akers wasn't going to be suiting up for the game on Sunday morning. That was a surprise to me. And I'll be making a video on that later this week. I hope you guys tune into that. But Kyren Williams looks amazing. So I'm not really I wanted Cam Akers to be the guy, but Kyren Williams looks freaking sick. And shout out to, I can't remember who it is. It's a girl that I forget her name. I'm very sorry, but she likes Kyren Williams. She's been saying that he should be the top guy for a while. She's on a podcast with Jake Ellenbogen, so check it out. And I'm sure they'll do a breakdown on this. But yeah, he looks like a starting running back. Puka Nacua, going to be doing a video on him as well. Another 15 catches to bring his season total to 25. That's insane. It's record-breaking pace. It's once Cooper Kupp comes back, that will go down. But, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the same team, Matthew Stafford is going to have options when he comes back. Darian Kendrick did have a tough day, committing 2 penalties. That was one of the specific drives where, if we go into the half up 7, we're going to be in a much better place. But didn't happen. Matthew Stafford was almost perfect, but I can't really say anything good about Matthew Stafford when he throws 2 picks like that. The one pick off of Kyren Williams' hands it's not his fault, I will say that. But with Van Jefferson, he has been playing well, and you put it in a very vulnerable place behind him where you wanted him to sit, but he didn't. And, Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp, they're going to sit there because you have a rapport with them. But Van Jefferson just doesn't have that same type of rapport, so you have to know your personnel, and that's on Matthew Stafford. So, and that really just ended the game at that point. The 49ers didn't do anything crazy, guys. Joseph Noteboom left the game second half. Now, he didn't get a good PFF grade, which we'll go over in a second, but really, Tremaine Ingram, as soon as he got into the game, there was way more pressure on the Rams. It was the first sack allowed. We only allowed 1 sack, but there was way more pressure on the Rams as soon as Joseph Noteboom left the game, and I would want him back. I hope that Kevin Dotson gets the nod at some point. But yeah, so that's pretty much the things they gave. In terms of PFF grades, we'll just briefly go over them. The top 5 offensively, obviously Puka Nacua, he's going to be a top wide receiver in this league, through 2 weeks. Tutu Atwell did pretty good with a 69, Kyren Williams 65, Stafford 63. That's not good for our top 5 to all be below 70 except for Puka. Top 5 defensively, liking what I'm seeing from Kobe Turner with 79. Aaron Donald, another straight week with below 80, which is crazy to me. Jonah Williams, 70. Really not good on that defensive side of the ball. Offensively, for the bottom 5, we got Van Jefferson, who honestly just needs to get traded out with Cam Akers. I'm done. Alaric Jackson, Rob Havenstein, probably in the later half of the game where we were just getting pressured to hell. But really, they knew we weren't going to be running the ball at that point, so it makes sense. Tyler Higbee and Joseph Noteboom. Although Joseph Noteboom, as soon as he went out, everything changed. So I don't know how he has such a low PFF grade, but I won't question it. Bottom 5 defensively, we got Quentin Lake, who didn't play very well. I liked how Russ East played personally. There was a few bright moments for him. Jordan Fuller, Michael Hoyt, Darion Kendrick obviously just screwed us at the end of the half with those two penalties, and then Kobe Durant didn't play good either. So guys, we played bad and we only lost by 7 to the 49ers. That's one thing I want to note. And then finally, 6 takeaways. Puka Nacua is the real deal. I've been saying this since the start of training camp, and people are just now catching up. Van Jefferson is heading to the bench with Cooper Kupp returns. He might get traded, guys. I mean, we might trade him for a cup of coffee at this point. Byron Young is a rising playmaker. Hey, everyone says that we need edge rushers. He's one of them. Yeah, I think we need to get someone to start in place of Michael Hoyt. But Byron Young, he should be starting in the NFL. He already has, I believe, 1.5 sacks on the year. Matthew Stafford was nearly perfect. We talked about that earlier. Kyron Williams can be the every down back, and I expect him to. He is a fantasy pickup. If you haven't yet, trade for him. Do what you need to do. This guy is going to be scoring a ton on this Rams team, and he is the every down back at this point. We only carried it for 14 times, and he had 52 yards and a touchdown and 48 receiving yards and another score. So, guys, he is a Alvin Kamara type of guy, honestly. I would definitely be trying to pick him up. Run defense remains a big concern. We couldn't stop McCaffrey, and we needed to. So it is what it is at this point. We move on to the Bengals. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for my Bengals Rams preview and predictions. But congratulations, 49ers fans. You are now 9 straight games in the regular season, not in the playoffs, and that's what I'll leave you on. You can't win when it matters. So that's what I'll leave you guys on. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.